Hi, my name is Nicole and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be taking you through a quick, easy little 10-minute hip opener, low body opener. This flow is specifically designated for the lower body, so we're going to start with the hips, go down, and work through the legs. So this is going to be very beginner friendly, no props required. However, as always, if you do have blocks, I will be giving you variations to utilize with the blocks. So I always recommend having them just because you never know when you may want them. Very beginner friendly, as I said, so the theming for today's class is definitely going to be leaning more into opening up the lower half of the body. This is really wonderful for people who may work from home or sit quite often for their jobs. Getting a nice deep stretch in of the lower body right before we go into work, just to give ourselves a little bit of care from sleeping the night before. Usually when we sleep, the low body is pretty tight anyway, just because we didn't really move around much in the night. So we're gonna take that on, we're gonna address that. How many times am I gonna do this? And then we're gonna be hopefully all loosey-goosey for our work days. If you wanted a more metaphysical or more a metaphorical, I should say, intention for this flow or theme, it's definitely going to be listening to our body. So I'm going to cue you quite often to listen to your body, see where sensations arise throughout these poses as we flow in and out, okay? So we are actually going to get started, and we're going to get started in a twist. So we're going to just do a couple little poses just for the back really quick. We are going to take the right leg in any seated position, and we're going to, with our left leg in, so we're starting from easy pose, bring it over the other side. So bringing the right foot to the outer edge of the left knee, planting all four corners of that right foot onto the mat, and grounding down throughout the sit bone on both sides, okay? Once we're here, we're going to think of lifting and lengthening through the spine, and then we're going to take our our left hand, wrap around that right leg, right hand comes directly behind, and we look over the right shoulder. Imagine bringing that belly button in and up, closer to the body to get a little bit more length here. You can come up onto your fingertips, or you can also grab a block here. And we're going to hold just a couple more breaths. This is nice because we get kind of a combo stretch here where we stretch through the back, but also a nice little hip stretch for the outer hip flexor. Very good. From here, coming forward, what we're going to do is bring our hands directly behind us, and we're going to keep our right leg where it is, if you're able to. You're just going to guide your left leg up to come onto the mat and readjust and maybe bring that right ankle so it's back right above the left knee. And once we're here, we're just going to go back and forth. This is a seated pigeon pose. So we're just going to kind of rock back and forth, get a little movement into the hips and the joints, a little mobility after we have slept. For just 2 more breaths, flexing that right foot as we go. Closer the chest to the leg, the more intense the stretch. Very good. And on the exhale, you're just going to let that left leg come down, right leg comes down to meet it. Let's take a fold where we inhale, hands up. Exhale to bend. Now when we bend here, I don't want you to feel like you have to reach your toes or make this perfect sandwich with your body. What I want you to do is inhale, lift and lengthen up through the spine, grounding down through all 4 corners of that sit bone. As we exhale to fold, we're just going to see what we can find and what we can grab, so really listening to our bodies here. So some of you may be able to grab your toes, that's totally awesome. Some of you may want to grab the soles of your feet, your ankles, maybe your shins. Maybe you even grab a block, put it on the outside of the leg, then use that to fold. I want it to be a little bit more passive. So if you notice some rounding in the upper back, totally okay. So find where you're comfortable, where you're feeling a stretch, but also comfortable enough to hold this for about 3 breaths, okay? So nice deep hold. You can even start maybe at the ankles, the shin, and try to work your way down as you notice the body is becoming a little more loose. You're leaving some tension here. Again, nice fold. Not shrugging the shoulders up towards the ears, trying to send them down towards the bottom of the back. One more deep breath here. Noticing how the body feels in these poses. As we inhale, release. And as we release, bring the hands on top of the legs, coming up as we round through the spine, vertebrae by vertebrae. And we'll take that little sequence on the opposite side. So starting again in our easy pose, if you'd like, we're going to take that left leg now this time and bring it to the outer edge of the right knee. Once here, we're going to take the right hand, lifting again, lengthening through the spine as the left hand comes behind. Looking over that left shoulder, bringing that belly button in and up towards our rib cage, giving us a little bit more length. Sliding the shoulder blades down. Let's do one more breath. Very good, and then return to center. Let's take that seated pigeon again, and if that was a little bit of an uncomfortable transition for you, you can just bring the right foot onto the mat and then cross the left leg over, or you can lower the whole leg down onto the mat, bring the left leg over onto the knee, and then come up from there. Or if you wanted to take the transition, you can, whatever feels good, okay? So from here again, we're just going to kind of rock back and forth as we flex into that left foot. A couple more breaths here. Very good. Let's slide that right leg down to the mat. Left leg uncrosses. We're going to sit up nice and tall on the inhale, hands up. And again, exhale to fold. Find where you land. Now that this is the second time coming into this pose, notice if it's a little bit different than it was the first time. Notice if it's the same. And again, really listen to your body on how your body would like to show up in this pose today, or how this pose is feeling for body. So once we find where we want to land and where we want to hold, we're going to hold 3 deep breaths. Again, don't feel afraid to round through the back. Make this quite passive. You can even take cleansing breaths if you'd like, so in through the nose, out through the mouth. You can do one more. Very, very well done. Inhale, coming up nice and slow. And let's open it up a little bit. So we're going to bring our bodies to face the long edges of the mat. Right leg is going to come in. The right foot is going to come into the left thigh. And we're going to take a little bit of a wild pose, or a half wild thing pose. So right hand is going to come behind the right leg. We're going to, as we inhale, lift the hips up, coming onto the top of our right shin, bringing that left hand up and over. Right arm has the shoulder directly under the elbow, and the left foot is firmly planted onto the mat. 3 deep breaths in this baby wild thing here. Again, really thinking of pressing those hips forward and away from the body. Good, one more. Very good. So as we come down, we're going to turn the back foot, turn the knee forward, coming into almost this half plank that we're in, okay? And from here, we're actually going to step it back, come to plank, inhale, lift the hips, coming into our downward facing dog. Now as we're here, this is the only down dog we're taking for the class, so let's paddle out the feet, let's walk the dog. So as we breathe, just alternating each heel as it rises and falls. And then maybe you try to guide your chest closer to your thighs as you find that you're bending into them. Hands are slightly gripping into the mat. 2 more breaths here. Continuing to either walk the dog or just hold. And you're always more than welcome to have some blocks under your hands for this pose. Very good. So from here, we're just going to guide that left knee in between the hands and lower the body down to come back into that original pose on the opposite side, okay? So once we're here, we're going to take baby wild thing on the left side. So left hand comes down behind the left thigh, or in front of, I guess. And then as we inhale, we lift, pressing those thighs up and away from us. We bring the right hand up and over. Right foot is on the mat. And we are on our shins here. Pressing that top of the left foot into the mat as well. 3 breaths here. Amazing. Windmill that hand again down to the mat as you turn the body forward to come into that half plank pose. And let's, instead of finding full plank, bring the right knee in to come into our tabletop pose. And now that we're here, we're not going to stay very long. We're actually going to take our left foot and bring it out to the width of the left side of the mat. Same with the right to the right side as we use our hands to walk our hands in and lower our pelvis down into a squat. Now, if this is a little uncomfortable, take a block, slide it under the pelvis. Otherwise, we're going to use the hands, bring the palms together, and with the elbows, press the knees open and away from each other, holding here 3 deep breaths. If you'd like to take an organic movement here, again, listen to your body. So I like to sway when I'm in this pose, just little gentle movements here. You can even bring your hands down to the mat as you do this to give yourself a little bit more support, a little bit more balance. Very good. Bringing the hands onto the mat, turning those toes forward. Let's find our tabletop pose once more, and then bringing the knees to the width of the mat, big toes touch, send the pelvis back and the hips back. Walk the hands forward. Let's rest in our child's pose. Now here you have a couple options. You can slide a block directly under your pelvis to give yourself a little bit more support. You can also bring the legs a little bit closer together if that serves you. If you find the tops of the ankles are a little uncomfortable, you can roll the mat. So that way you can place it directly under just to give, again, a little bit more support. This is actually the pose we are actually going to be taking our Shavasana in. We're going to take a nice, short, sweet one today. If you'd like, you're more than welcome to always join us in corpse pose, or you can take a seat up. Otherwise, we're continuing in our child's pose. And now as we stay here, let's just breathe, allow the heart to come down and slow and beat, allowing the breath to return to its natural rhythm. And let's think back on the intention we had for today's class, which was to really listen to our bodies. I want you to think back on the class and think about where you showed up for your body's needs and what that looked like. So just take a moment here, reflect. Without judgment, did you listen to your body? How did you listen to your body? How did you show up for your body today? And breathe as you think on it. Very good. And then to end, I'll invite you to think on how you could invite that same energy you just gave yourself today into the rest of your day and what that would look like. I'll leave you to ponder for just a couple moments, and then we will rise and end the class. You are in child's pose. Gently begin to walk the hands in as you lift up and come into any seated posture that is comfortable. If you are in corpse pose, you may stay in corpse pose if you would like. And we will finish today's class by inhaling nice and tall, lifting up and really bringing everything we need for ourselves today in our hands. As we exhale, we invite all of that energy down to our heart center where it never leaves. Bowing forward, namaste, meaning that what was done today cannot be undone. Thank you so much for flowing with me. It was again a pleasure to see you, and I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.